We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided that they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost balance.
Questions came through about how can we stay motivated if we're not going to get a bonus? What can we do? What can we do? Some of them were nice and some of them were not so nice. So I'm going to address this head on. The most important thing we can do right now is focus on the things that we can control. None of us could have predicted COVID. None of us could have predicted supply chain. None of us could have predicted bank failures. But what we can do is stay in front of our customers, provide the best customer service we can, get our orders out our door, treat each other well, be kind, be respectful, focus on the future because it will be bright. It's not good to be in a situation we're in today, but we're not going to be here forever. It is going to get better. So lead by example, treat people well, talk to them, be kind, and get after it. Don't ask about what are we going to do if you don't get a bonus. Get the damn $26 million. Spend your time and your effort thinking about the $26 million we need and not thinking about what you're going to do if we don't get a bonus. All right? Can I get some commitment for that? I would appreciate that. I had an old boss who said to me one time, you can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. So people, leave Pity City. Let's get it done. Thank you. Have a great day.
What it is the people that are running shit are so fucking greedy that they can't give anybody their fair share. They want to keep all of it. That's why it's like that way. Not because it's a confusing, blah, blah, blah. It isn't. It's the game that's going on in our business right now. Where they're acting like, there's no money and gaga as you just bought your third fucking mansion. Yeah. They don't want to pay anybody, and it's that disease of every year you got to earn more.
It's Bob Iger going, this is not a good time for the strike. After he signs a contract where he gets $26 million a year.
I've done my job so good that I've decided I'm giving myself a bonus. Back in the day, the mob would skim.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they call it a bonus, and it's totally legal. That True TV guy, that guy gave himself like $150 million.
Hilarious. And Practical Joker's making all their money, and then he's like, give me that fucking A-Rod deal.
Bobby Bonilla day.
They're getting all Bobby Bonilla paychecks.
There's 3 people doing that. Fire 2 of them, and now you have to do all 3 of those jobs.
Dude.
I just saved this company money.
I want to thank everybody for hopping on this afternoon because I wanted to attack this head on. Excuse the mess behind me. I'm coming for you live from my Hamptons home, and things aren't exactly set up for the summer, but Michael's filled me in on a lot of the bonus rumblings going around the office, and I just wanted to pose the question, folks, where's the loyalty? Right? Where's the loyalty? Because I thought we were a family. Where's the collective spirit? Right? Bonuses, but what about the pizza parties? The Christmas parties? Right? The company mugs, the appreciation emails, the 48 hours of vacation time, the 5 days of maternity leave that we provide. Right? And all I'm hearing about is bonuses, or some people are suggesting that I relinquish some of my $6 million salary to provide bonuses to the hardworking employees. And I say to you folks, is that not socialism? What lesson exactly is that teaching? That you get whatever you want as long as you complain? That's not the kind of company we're running here, folks. And I ask you to follow in the footsteps of the great JFK, who once said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask how you can get the $26 million that this company...
I automatically assume if someone's been in a job for 2 years and less, they failed, unless there's clear evidence that there was another reason why they left. Because in most companies, it takes about a year to figure out that someone's not working out, and then another year to get rid of them. So if you've been at a company for less than 2 years, unless you can clearly convince me why, I've automatically assumed you failed.
That's Dev Ittycheria, the CEO of MongoDB. And Dev, on behalf of a lot of people, shut the hell up. Now, Dev's not alone in this train of thought, of course, but here's my real issue with it. The idea that you have to be convinced otherwise tells me you will never be convinced otherwise. You don't care that even going back to 2017, it would show the average tenure of pretty much every big tech company was less than 2 years. Meaning you think the average employee at every company fails. You don't care that this year 246,000 people were laid off in tech. You don't care that last year 165,000 people were laid off in tech. You need to be convinced, and you never will be. And that's the problem with people like you in power. Now, I was really hoping to find layoffs at your company. It turns out your company avoided mass layoffs this year because you didn't overhire. That is great. You're running a company well. Though the internet does seem to imply you did a lot of silent layoffs this year by making goals and raising the bar to a level people couldn't hit, which would go hand in hand with your mindset here. I could tell you my journey about my couple layoffs and jobs I lost, but I wouldn't convince you probably, right? I don't want to. I don't want to work with you. It's fine. Though, Dev, I am curious why you failed as the president of Enterprise Service Management at BMC Software, or why, despite getting pressed for joining as a venture partner at Greylock, you failed there. You're not one of those rules for thee and not rules for me CEOs, are you? More importantly, if you want to run a company, have some empathy for people and understand things happen and people take care of themselves because they sure can't rely on you to take care of them. Meanwhile, you and all these other CEOs feel free to keep telling on yourselves so people know who to avoid when things do turn around.
In the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being
and
realistic?
dangerous. No, they're not.
Why not?
I can't answer that question. I respect their right and their desire to get as much as they possibly can in compensation for their people. I completely respect that. I've been around long enough to understand that dynamic and to appreciate it. But you also have to be realistic about the business environment and what this business can deliver. It is and has been a great business for all of these people, and it will continue to be, even through disruptive times. But, being realistic is imperative.
What do you do in the interim then? Does AI start to write a lot of scripts?
It will have a very, very damaging effect on the whole business, and unfortunately,
the strike will.
There's huge collateral damage in the industry to people who are, who are support services. I could go on and on. It will affect the economy of, different regions even because of just the sheer size of the business. It's a shame. It is really a shame.
Work from home phenomenon is a U.S. phenomenon. If you go to England or Germany, and we have some investments offshore, and I was just looking at rents are up and vacancy rates in the top German property markets, Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich, Hamburg, are less than 5%. People are back in the office. You and I go to the Middle East, they're full. We have offices in Asia, they're full. So this is a U.S. situation. In the U.S., you have two markets. You have the really nice buildings that are ESG compliant, that are lovely, like the one we're sitting in. This place is buzzing, and they're back because it's a fun place to be. And if you're in a building with lots of cubicles and it's dark and there's no life and love, so nice buildings, even in a city as currently destitute as San Francisco from an office market perspective, the best buildings are still leased. And so you're going to see a bifurcation of the market in office. The nice buildings will stay rented, and my guess is at pretty good rates. And the B and C stuff is going to be maybe fields of grain or something. It'll be very pretty. We'll have all these little mid-block parks in New York City because there won't be anything else to do with those buildings. And nobody will carry them because there's no hope. Some of the cities that have issues on commuting, like New York or LA downtown, San Francisco, the CBD, that are difficult to commute to, that's where the pressure's so hard from workers saying, I don't want to drive into the city an hour and a half and drive home an hour and a half every day. But I also think a nice little recession will clear this, and you'll see people come back to the office. And I was in your town, take the Amazon HQ2, they're expecting people in those offices 4 days a week come the fall.
So a lot of people are ragging on this guy because he's talking about that, working from home is such a U.S. thing that the whole world goes to the office, which is not true. But there is a part here that he touches on in the end that he recognizes that when you live in a city that has a lot of traffic and a bad commute, it's not great. But a recession will take care of that. They'll come back. They have to. And the fact that you think that people are not going to demand to work from home or at least have a better commute and work somewhere else with that commute is not going to be the driver of where they want to work, you, sir, are completely out of touch. When I used to work in an office, I work for myself now, but when I used to work in a corporate office, I actually like going to the office. I like to actually separate my space from working from home and working in an office. So that separation was good, but I did not enjoy the commute. The other thing I didn't enjoy working in an office is it was made by them, and the way that the office was set up is fucking terrible. And that's the thing. They're trying to say, well, you're more efficient when you work in the office, not when you're at home. But the thing is, the environment that you're working in most offices, is super inefficient. Like, they have terrible lighting that hurts your eyes, and when you're staring at a screen all day, you leave super tired. There's literally probably nowhere that you can get out and actually see some trees, some greenness, and get some sun that's not just a parking lot. And let's not to mention their free snacks are fucking terrible for you. So of course people want to work from home. They're more comfortable there. They can take an extra break that actually separate them from their environment and actually recharge so that they can work better. And it's already proven that most people are more efficient at home than they are going to an office. And let's not forget the hour and a half that you gain back in your life that you're happier about than driving, being in a shitty environment, and then having to sit in your car and wait in traffic, and you get home by 7 o'clock. Oh, and let's not forget, if you actually have children that you probably want to see, and you spend most of your time in the car. See, these guys are going to continue to lose this argument the more out of touch they are. See, they look at us as we are just a product, right? So when you look at us, we are just like, what's an ROI on this person? What is the return they're going to get? I actually worked at a place that they had a multiple of your hours and what that equaled to for the company, and you had to keep it at a certain amount. Now, I understand that's why I'm employed. We're here to make you money, right? But when you just look at us like a number, of course they're going to leave. Of course they're not going to work for you. They want to work for a place that actually cares about you. And when they care about you, you care about them. And guess what happens? Everyone's happy, and you get to work, and you get a better employee.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our end of year December call. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, I am on the road again. I'm actually headed out for the holidays to my villa in Italy. And so I'm calling you all from the airport. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But I would be remiss if I didn't stop and just say thank you so much for all that you all do for this business. It is our most profitable quarter ever. And I know it's been a difficult year. I personally have had to take a lot of heat. There's been a lot of rumor mill and gossip, and I just wish you all could understand how hard it is to be a CEO in America at this time. It's hard. It's difficult.
You can have work-life balance. I tell people at JP Morgan Chase, it is your job to take care of your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your friends, your family, your health. Your job. It's not our job. So I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding that some of the companies, now we should do everything we can to help you. And I tell people, we give you medical, shrinks, Pilates, massages. I mean, we really do try to take care of our people. But I can't make up for you not doing those other things, and you really have to do it yourself. Most people don't work very smart. So first off, work smart. Now, I deal with emails and phone calls generally once. Okay, I have 3 types of reading: very fast, very slow. So the very slow is the complex. I really need to think about it. The very fast might be a magazine. I just want to see if they're interested in there or something like that. And people don't run their lives efficiently. And I'm sure you've seen even in school here, the people are frenzied. They're always frenzied. They're late. They can't get back. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I couldn't get this done. I got my cases. I couldn't do this. If you're frenzied, it's you. It's not the school. It's not the job. It's you, because a lot of us aren't frenzied. I'm never late, almost never late. I'm not frenzied. I have a nice follow-up list. I know exactly what people are doing. I schedule time, for myself for exercise and for, making my phone calls. And if I didn't do it this morning, I would feel harried if I wasn't all caught up, so work really smart. Learn how to work smart. And then impart your life. I think it's really difficult when you have children. That does burn the candle at both ends. My advice to men is you better drop watching every football game and playing golf on both Saturday and Sunday. Do something with your kids. And if you don't, it's neglect. Okay, you call it whatever you want, but it's neglect. I have a lot of friends who complain about they have enough family time, but they go play golf on Saturday and Sunday. I'm playing golf on Saturday and Sunday means you wake up at 7 or 8, you go play golf for 3 hours, you have lunch, usually Bloody Mary, you go home and take a nap. Okay, and then you go to dinner with friends. You should have done something with your family. And so you can do it. And if you're a woman, I think it's even harder. And I think there's some jobs that are really conducive to helping you, and some aren't. And you got to think that through a little bit. And one of the greatest speeches I ever saw a woman give was, you can have it all, you just can't have it all at the same time. And just be a little thoughtful how you manage your life. And that could be a man who's got to stay home to take care of kids or sick parents or something like that. And so it's a long race, and you can pretty much do it all. But you got to make sure you save time for yourself to do those things.
HR consultant here, and I found a video over the weekend that just has me baffled. Let me play some for you.
True stories from corporate America. Last week I was at yet another conference with hundreds of business executives, all frustrated that people are not staying in their companies as long as they used to. The turnover is increasing, and they're seeking an answer to understand why. And I've given them many, many frameworks and models to help them understand why I think it's happening.
So he's at yet another conference, which means he's been to many, with hundreds of executives who don't know why turnover's occurring. My followers know why turnover's occurring, right? You guys know. And why on earth are you talking about models and framework to figure out why turnover's happening? Again, we know why turnover's happening, right? I don't even need to tell you that it's about pay, your crappy boss, your inflexible schedule, you can't work from home or work remotely, your work environment sucks, you hate your job, your benefits aren't enough, your PTO aren't enough, etc. This is not a mystery.
It's game on for companies today. You've got to become the place where people believe they can grow and learn more than if they shop around somewhere else on the outside. And guess what? They have more choice and more visibility to choice today than ever before.
Companies know what their turnover rate is. They know the cost of it as well. And if companies thought it was actually worth it financially to invest money to lower turnover, they would do it. I promise you. You don't think that these executives have data on what turnover costs? They do. And again, if they wanted to lower it, they would. If it was financially advantageous for them to lower turnover, they would. Also, you don't need framework and models to figure out why people are leaving. You can simply ask them. The major companies I've worked for sent every exiting employee, like a week after they left, sometimes 2, a survey about why they left. And there, for example, would be 20 reasons why people leave a job. Pay, benefits, schedule. You're moving away. You're changing careers. You're going back to school. And you select the reasons why you left. And what does that give you? Data. You can also survey current staff as to what they want. And then you can use that data to make decisions to retain staff. Companies would if they wanted to. But that video just baffles me. Like, executives are going to all these conferences over and over and over again, just trying to figure out why people are leaving? What? But maybe I just didn't get the video.